Becoming fluent in Spanish seemed like an impossible goal to reach. Even though I struggled so much and was very overwhelmed during this journey, I was still able to become fluent in Spanish. I want to share with you what really boosted my Spanish skills to fluency and helped me become bilingual. Now, one thing that really helped me to become bilingual was experimenting with different methods of learning Spanish. This was extremely helpful because before I started to learn Spanish on my own, I was very used to just learning Spanish in school. So I didn't really have many methods for learning Spanish. Besides learning with my Spanish textbooks and with my homework assignments and the occasional chat that I would have in Spanish with my classmates. So it really blew my mind when I figured out there were so many other ways to learn Spanish. I started to listen to podcasts in Spanish, listening to music in Spanish, reading in Spanish. For example, I would read books in Spanish as well. I would read as much content online in Spanish. So one thing that I love to do a lot was Google or make Google searches in Spanish. Like, como preparar pollo. I changed the language on my phone to be in Spanish. I watched movies and TV shows in Spanish. I talked with native Spanish speakers, at first on applications like Hello Talk, and then later on in person. I was writing in Spanish, so I would write like a little journal just about my thoughts and my feelings and how my day went. As well, I would even write my grocery list in Spanish. I might have been a little bit obsessive during this experimental phase. Just a little bit. I'm very grateful that I actually got into this experimental phase because this is when I started to develop a passion for learning Spanish because I just fell in love with the process of learning the language because now I had all these different ways of learning the language. But when I was in school, for example, I liked the Spanish language, but I didn't like the way that I was learning. I did not really care about homework assignments. And for me, Spanish at the time when I was in school, I was just trying to pass my classes. I was trying to graduate. So I didn't really have that passion. Also, I really love the fact that me learning Spanish on my own, I had full control over my learning path. I could learn any way that I wanted. And I just love that freedom. Self-reflection or self-analysis, or I don't know if there's another way to say this, but that has helped me so much to become bilingual as well. I ran into so many hurdles during this journey that I had no idea how to jump over. But then I would reflect on this hurdle and try to find a solution to my problem. For example, I would ask myself these questions. Why do I keep stuttering when I'm speaking Spanish? Why am I so exhausted when I'm reading my Spanish book? How come I can't understand this Spanish book? Why can't I remember any of the vocabulary that I'm studying? Why is it so hard to understand Dominicans when they speak? So after more and more reflection and experimenting and testing different ways for learning Spanish, I eventually came up with answers like these. I stutter a lot when I'm speaking Spanish because I'm trying to speak way too fast and I need to slow down. I'm really exhausted when I'm reading my Spanish book because I'm reading at night, number one. And number two, reading in Spanish for me, especially when it comes to reading books in Spanish, is very mentally taxing. It takes a lot of energy out of me. So I just need to read at a different time of day when I have more energy and I am more focused. I can't understand the Spanish book because I'm only a few chapters in and I don't really understand the story yet. It's just getting started. I can't remember the vocabulary that I've been studying because I'm not putting the vocabulary in context. I'm just studying all this vocabulary and doing nothing with it. I can't understand Dominicans when they speak because this is my first time in the Dominican Republic. I never grew up with Dominicans, so I don't know anything about the Spanish dialect that is spoken in this country, and I'm not really familiar with the accent in general. Being consistent was also very helpful in me becoming bilingual. I think we all know this phrase, if you don't use it, you lose it. And that is exactly what happened with me because I've had many gaps in my Spanish studies. I took Spanish classes in high school from freshman year to sophomore year, and I actually quit taking Spanish after that. I didn't want to do any more because I thought it was too hard. And then from about 16 years old to 21 or 22 years old, I was not doing anything with Spanish at all. I was not learning Spanish on my own, and I was not taking any Spanish classes. So of course, I lost some grammar knowledge and I lost a decent amount of vocabulary. And then unfortunately, after I graduated college, there was another 6 to 8 months period where I was not consistent at all with learning Spanish. I was sometimes listening to a podcast, but that was basically it. And that definitely made me lose a decent amount of vocabulary and knowledge of Spanish grammar and things like that. So I just wanted to be lazy for a while. But this laziness prevented me from getting to my experimental phase faster, where I developed that passion for learning Spanish. As well, this happened in the middle of 2020. And since that moment when I got that passion for learning Spanish, I've been studying and learning Spanish every single day, minus a few days when I was really sick. Another thing that helped me to become bilingual was doing what I didn't like to do. For example, a few years ago when I first started to think in Spanish, I really did not like it because I wasn't used to thinking in Spanish, so it was very challenging to do. I could only do it for maybe 5 or 10 minutes without being super exhausted. So I didn't really want to think in Spanish. I was very inconsistent with that as well. But then I started to push myself to think in Spanish as much as possible. And then over time, I was able to think for longer periods of time. So I did what I did not want to do, which was think in Spanish because it was just so exhausting and challenging. On a similar note, I didn't like to speak Spanish, and just saying that right now is just absolutely insane because now I love to speak Spanish all the time. But when I was first starting this journey, I didn't like it because, again, I was coming out of school and I didn't really know how to communicate in Spanish. That's not something that was really taught to me. So, for example, when I was in school, I had very limited amount of time to actually practice speaking Spanish. Outside of class, outside of assignments, I was never speaking Spanish. And then when I was actually in or doing my homework assignments or whatnot, or chatting with the students in class, that wasn't much time to speak Spanish. It was maybe, a max of 10 minutes of me speaking broken Spanish. It wasn't a lot at all. So when I started to speak Spanish on my own, I started to speak Spanish to myself, it was very challenging to do. It was very uncomfortable. I wasn't used to it. I did not like it. So I really had to push myself to actually speak. And then as well, I knew in the back of my head at this time that I was going to have to speak Spanish a lot to develop that skill, to develop the skill of speaking Spanish and communicating in Spanish. But I just really didn't want to. And another example is I really did not like telling stories in Spanish because I wasn't good with conjugating the verbs in the past tense, so the imperfect and then also the preterite tense. Those are really challenging for me. And then as well, just like grammar in general, trying to make sentences or in my mind first and then trying to speak them out was just so incredibly challenging. And I thought that I didn't sound very good either. Like my pronunciation was very terrible as well. So I had all these emotions and all these negative thoughts, and just like the mixture of that plus my lack of communication skills made it very difficult to get through this initial phase of just speaking consistently for the first time. And I had all those issues just trying to speak Spanish to myself when I was at home. And then there were many other issues when it came to actually speaking with native Spanish speakers in person. That was a completely different ball game that required even more effort and more energy that I really had to push myself through, even though I did not want to at the time. But I did it because I knew it was going to help me. Oh yeah, and on top of all that, I'm an introvert. So speaking to new people in general is already pretty uncomfortable. And then I had to speak to new people in my second language, and that was beyond uncomfortable. Speaking with native Spanish speakers. It's hard to explain just how much I have learned from speaking Spanish with native Spanish speakers. And also it really opened my eyes to a very unique way to learn Spanish and to learn about Spanish culture. So I'm not just watching content in Spanish from the comfort of my home, like watching movies and TV shows on Netflix or watching YouTube videos or listening to music, listening to a podcast, but I'm able to actually increase my speaking skills, increase my listening skills, increase my pronunciation skills. I don't know if I said speaking skills already, through conversation, and that honestly blew my mind as well. One example of this is when I met a group of Cubanos or Cubans at the gym, and they taught me the phrase "que bola hacer." And the first time that they said that, I had no idea what they were trying to tell me. I was like, que bo what? And then I asked them, como, ¿qué dijiste? Como, ¿me puedes repetir? Like, can you repeat what you just said? And then after repeating it at least 5, 10, or maybe even more times than that, I was able to understand a lot better what they were trying to tell me. Okay, que bola hacer. Then I would ask them, okay, how do you write that out in Spanish, so I could try to pronounce the letters, because that would help me out a lot as well when I was having conversations. If I couldn't understand the Spanish speaker, I would tell them to spell it out for me, and then I would also tell them to help me pronounce it correctly. So I get a lot of repetition during the conversations. Que bola hacer, que bola hacer. So I'm always saying this phrase now every time that I meet a Cuban. Another funny example is when I was having a conversation with one of my friends from Guatemala, and he was telling me that the people there, they're called Guatemaltecos. And at the time, I had no idea how to say this. I mean, I butchered it every single time I said it, and he would always laugh at me because I'm like, Guatemeco, qué? But every time that I would pronounce it incorrectly, he would pronounce it the correct way, and then he would say it slowly so I could repeat after what he was saying. I mean, he taught me not just that word, but many other words as well. There was also my confusion with peso versus pesa, because when we were in the gym, I would always say peso instead of pesa or pesas when I was trying to refer to the individual weights, because I thought peso in Spanish was weight, like the actual weight of something, but I was confused which one to use all the time. But he would always make fun of me when I would say the incorrect one. But again, he would always help me to like, no, bro. No, it's pesas. It's not peso. There was another time that I was in the gym and I saw this one woman working out, and she was playing some music out loud, and I heard that it was in Spanish. So I went up to her and I asked her what type of music that was, and she said that it was punta. And punta, I guess, is a type of genre of music that comes from Honduras, and she is Hondureña. So we were having this conversation in Spanish about her country, Honduras, and about the food and the culture and everything. So it was really fun to be able to learn so much in just a conversation with a native Spanish speaker in person. There was this one time when I went out to dinner with one of my friends and his girlfriend, and they were teaching me how to say interrumpir, so like to interrupt in Spanish for at least 5 to 10 minutes, because I kept on saying it incorrectly over and over again. Even right now, I still trip up when I'm trying to say that word. But just again, having these amazing conversations, these amazing experiences, when I have the opportunity to speak with a native Spanish speaker, they are always helping me to speak better, how to pronounce something correctly. And again, I'm always working on my listening comprehension skills as well, because I have to listen to them to figure out what they are saying, so I can also figure out how to respond to them based off what they just told me. As well, having these conversations in Spanish have helped me to express myself a lot better, because, in a conversation, normally you are expressing yourself in some sort of way or showing your personality. But in Spanish, right, that is actually different than how I express myself in English. I don't know if that makes sense or if you have experienced that yet, but I'm quite different when I'm speaking Spanish versus when I'm speaking English. And I would say my personality is a little bit more energetic. I speak usually a little faster. I speak a lot louder. So that also has been a part of increasing my speaking skills and my communication skills in Spanish. It really has been trying to find my own voice, so to speak. I'm always very amazed by how easy it has been for me to remember new words and phrases that I've heard in conversations that I've been in as well. And not even just conversations that I've been in, but conversations that I've overheard. And I haven't had to write down these words or phrases either and, review like a word list or a phrase list over and over again for me to remember them. But it's just the very fact of me being in the conversation, repeating the words, me repeating those words and phrases, or the person I'm talking to repeating those words and phrases, and it just sticks into my mind. For example, I remember when I was in a grocery store one time, and I heard this mother say to her child, "Habla más fuerte." Habla más fuerte. And I just absolutely love that phrase. And from that day, I didn't have to write it down, I just remembered it. Another good example are my many trips to different Mexican restaurants and taquerias and birrierias, and just overhearing the conversation that the meseros and meseras, that the waiters and waitresses are having with the clients. So, for example, I've heard a lot, ahorita, ahora, a sus órdenes, a su gusto, al gusto. ¿Qué más? Oh, ¿qué necesitas? ¿Qué más quieres? ¿Todo bien? Just a bunch of words and phrases that I have overheard. This is how I boosted my Spanish skills and became bilingual, and I really hope that you can get some ideas for how you can do the same thing. If you are already bilingual, let me know in the comment section below how you did it. What did your journey look like? Also, don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, share it with your language learning friends.